Today, Kevin is going to be making sticky ginger tray bake. This is a Paul Hollywood recipe. This is from the cookbook, A Baker's Life. And I'm just going to introduce it, and then Kevin's actually going to be the one to make this one. This, it says, Paul says, the beauty of a tray bake is that it's easy to transport in the tin you bake it in, and then cut it into portions to share out. Ginger is a simple way of flavoring a sponge, and stem ginger adds a little texture as well as a fresh and fragrant kick. The ginger syrup soaks into the sponge and makes it shine on top. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You need 220 grams unsalted butter softened, 220 grams dark brown sugar, 3 large eggs beaten, 220 grams of self-rising flour, 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, and then you're going to need 4 knobs of stem ginger. So these little things are knobs. So we will have to peel this. Kevin will show you that in a minute though. And then 2 tablespoons of stem ginger syrup. We cannot find ginger syrup in our area, so we have to make our own. And to make your own, you need 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and then you need 4 ounces of ginger. And ginger is so ugly, but they do have it at Walmart and Kroger, so that wasn't a problem. And then for the ginger syrup on top, this is a separate ginger syrup. You need 60 grams of dark brown sugar, 100 milliliters of water, and a half teaspoon of ground ginger. So you also need to preheat your oven to 356 degrees, and the pan, Paul wants a 30 by 20 centimeter baking tin. This is just a little bit longer and just a hair wider, but this is the size that we have. So you line it with parchment paper. So now I'm gonna hand this over to Kevin.
Hey, I've never dealt with ginger before, like knob ginger, regular ginger, so this will be a new experience for me. So to make the syrup, and we looked everywhere, but we didn't think the recipes online all mentioned cocktails, so we may have been able to go to like a liquor store or a liquor barn kind of store and maybe be able to find it. We didn't know. So the recipe I found is just a simple syrup. There's like 3 different versions. Martha Stewart even had one. So it's a cup of sugar, a cup of water, equal parts. And you just go ahead and mix. You can go and pour your water into your sugar, no big deal there. And then what you need to do is, some person had it to where you actually chop this up in a chopper, like a food processor, and just do skin and all. I didn't want to deal with the food processor, so all the other recipes said to peel it and then chop it. So that's what I'm going to do, or slice it. So I'm just using a vegetable peeler, and you just want to take the skin off. Peels really easily, by the way. It's peels about as easy as a carrot.
And it was pretty cheap.
Oh yeah, this knob of ginger was like 50 cents or so, and they're big. Like this one was 50 cents. And then we bought a bigger one that was kind of thicker in the middle, like that. I think it was like 80 cents or something, but I think it was heavier too.
Who's that character, Groot? Is that his name?
Groot.
That's what that looks like. It looks like his arm fell off or something.
I'll tell you what, the smell.
Oh yeah, you can really smell it. It's very strong.
Okay, that took no time at all. Let's see if I can.
So you weighed this out, right?
Yeah, I weighed it out to get 4 ounces. And it's just a hair over, but it doesn't matter. It's not like you're mixing it in. You're really just flavoring the syrup with it. So it's not like it has to be dead on exact.
So you said ginger syrup. You said a lot of people put it in cocktails?
Yeah, they said it adds a lot of flavor to cocktails.
I'm sure it does.
I can't even imagine. I don't drink cocktails, so I don't know. Don't know much about cocktails.
That hasn't been that hard to peel, but I think Groot's hand over there is going to be awful to peel.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to cut them each one off.
Yeah, and I might even just peel it with a knife.
With a knife, yeah.
Because this is not good for getting into the little divots and dents and stuff like that.
They had some huge pieces in Walmart.
Well, and if we'd known we were going to have to peel it and chop it up, then I might have gotten the bigger pieces.
Yeah, a bigger piece would have been easier to deal with than getting the smaller piece. But we've never dealt with ginger before.
Okay, so this is, like I said, this one's just for the syrup. I'm gonna rinse these off real quick, but I'm actually gonna end up peeling those other ones as well. So let me just rinse this off. All right, I just rinsed them off just to get the skins off of them, and nothing fancy. You just slice them up into like little rings. They're maybe the size of a quarter, the thickness of a little thicker than a quarter, maybe a $1/2. Do is I'm going to put this in this pan with the sugar and the water, and we're going to bring it to, basically we're going to heat it over medium-high heat until the sugar all melts, and then you turn it down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes at the tops, and then we're going to strain it out. So I'll be back when that's ready. Okay, while that syrup is on the stove boiling, I'm going to try to deal with these little pieces. I may peel this big one first. It peels pretty easily. This ginger is kind of tough. It's kind of rooty, like a turnip or something. It's kind of what it reminds me of. It's a little soft. It's softer than a potato.
So this is for the actual
This is for the actual recipe itself, and you're supposed to have 4 knobs of ginger chopped into small pieces. So
it's bad though that it doesn't say like how many ounces, because the knobs are different.
I know they're different sizes.
Right.
I tried to find it online and nobody ever had a measurement. They were just saying the little knobs are literally just the bumps on the ginger. So
right.
I don't know. Ginger it looks like it's got some fibrous pieces in there.
I saw that.
Like little hairs or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, let me see if I can. Yeah, it's definitely, well, these pieces seem to be a little harder than a potato. I can't imagine chopping this up and eating it raw in a recipe, but
people do that?
That's what we're going to do with this recipe.
Oh, but it's going to be so small.
Well, I hope so. Okay, I finished peeling it, rinsed it off really good. So now I'm just going to show you, this is about how small I'm thinking of doing it. And it's going to be smaller than like matchsticks. And then I will chop it up that fine. That's how I'm thinking. It says chopped. It doesn't say how much. That's what I'm thinking. Tammy's nodding her head. She agrees with me.
I do, yeah.
So I don't want to get, I can't imagine getting too many bigger hunks than that in there. I mean, the baking might soften it up a bit, but still. So I'm gonna chop the rest of this up, and then I'll start actually mixing everything up here in just a second. All right, here's my syrup, and it's been on the stove for half an hour. So what you want to do is just get a strainer and pour it in there, and you can kind of see it's thicker. You can see how thick that syrup is. And honestly, you only need like 2 tablespoons of this for this recipe, but you can save it. I'm gonna lay this in the sink. You can save it in an airtight container in the refrigerator for like a month. So if you put it in a container in the refrigerator, it'd be good. So I'm gonna take this strainer and you're just gonna dump that away in the garbage. Someone said you could actually make candied ginger out of this if you wanted to use it and make candied ginger. We're not gonna do that, but you could if you wanted to, so that you don't have to waste it. So this has to cool off a bit because I don't want to put it in there hot. So I'm gonna let this cool off a minute, and then I'll get started on the rest of the stuff. All right, this is my 2 tablespoons of the syrup. It definitely is thicker, that's for sure. So I went ahead and measured it out so I wouldn't have to deal with it later. I just left the spoon in there so I could scrape it out. So now I want to do the, actually start on the actual tray bake. So we need the butter and the brown sugar. So there's my butter. Try to get as much as possible out of there. And my brown sugar. This is the 220 grams of dark brown sugar. And we're gonna cream that together. Okay, so that's pretty fluffy to me. So you're gonna add your egg a little bit at a time, and just mix it thoroughly once you've added a little bit each time. it's all incorporated and mixed well. So let me take the beater bar off here because it'll drip. This is a very runny, wet mix. So normally if it was thicker, I would just leave it hanging there, but it's too wet. Yeah, so I'm going to take this off and I'm going to sift my flour and my ginger on top of it. And I've just got this strainer, the same one I use for the ginger. I just dried it off really good. Get that. And go ahead and pour your ginger, your ground ginger in there as well. And just tap, tap, tap. Few little things left in there. So now you're going to just take it and you're going to fold the flour into the mixture. And it's very, feels very airy and very light and fluffy. Okay, and then I'm going to add my chopped ginger root and my syrup, and I'm going to fold that in as well. That's pretty impressive how thick that syrup got. I mean, it's like Cairo syrup. I mean, it's that thick. So you want to get it as even as you possibly can, and then it's going to go in the oven and bake for 25 to 30 minutes until it's risen and it's springy to the touch, kind of like a cake. So I'm going to, we'll probably check it at 25 minutes just to see where it's at, and then we'll be back. All right, the actual tray bake itself probably has another 20 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and make the syrup that goes on top. So I'm going to add the water, the ground ginger, and the brown sugar. Don't want to plop it. And I'm going to heat this up until it boils, and then basically just let it boil for a little. Well, we're going to let it melt all this sugar, and then I'm going to try medium. And then once all the sugar dissolves, then we're just going to keep it boiling until it thickens up, kind of like the syrup we made with the ginger syrup. All right, here it is out of the oven. It was in for 27 minutes total. It looks really good. It's really good and brown. So you let it cool slightly before you do the next step, but you'll need some kind of skewer to poke holes in it. And then my syrup is done. You can see it thickened up pretty decently. So I'm gonna let this cool slightly before I start poking holes in it, and I'll be back to show you that step. All right, it's been like 5 minutes, so I'm just gonna take my skewer. This is one of these bamboo skewers. I'm just going to poke holes all through this. And then we'll take our syrup and you literally just pour it over top. And it's very thick, so. So this has to cool completely before you cut it. So so we'll probably give it, what, a couple hours to cool, and then we'll be back to try a piece.
So you probably notice on our cake, although it looks like it turned out perfectly, the edges were not dark, and that's just because I said our pan is slightly longer and just slightly wider. So if you use the exact the right pan, then it will be plenty to cover.
And we looked for that size pan around the United States. We've looked at a couple different places. You can't find that size pan.
Right. So
must be common over in Europe, but it's not here.
Just like the pans where the bottoms come out of them. They're so common there, and we had to special order them from Amazon.
I want to try, but I got an edge piece without the sauce on it. I wanted to try it just without sauce, just to see what it tastes like. It's good. I think it's going to be a little drier on the edge, but.
And you know what? I never would have thought those little pieces that you cut up of ginger. I love the texture of that in there.
Does it add a little chew? I didn't get one. Oh yeah, it adds a little chewy piece, and I got just snack up. Adds a little spice to it too. Get a little zing in there, don't you?
I was worried, to be totally honest, because some things with ginger we really like, and some things are over the top to where we don't like them at all. I was worried about this because it has so much ginger in it. It's delicious.
It's good. You can definitely get the ginger. I mean, you definitely get a little bit of a burn in the back of your throat from the ginger. Or at least I did.
I didn't, but that's just me. Yeah.
It's got that little...
A little tingle on your tongue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a little zing in there, you know, just a little bit. It's not like punch your teeth out.
Right,
spicy,
it's not that strong.
Yeah, but you do feel it. And I like the flavor of it, and it's very moist. It's a very, very moist... I guess it's not really a cake, but it's whatever.
It's a tray bake. That's what they
whatever you want to call it.
In the United Kingdom, they call them tray bakes.
Bar.
A lot of I would call this a cake. That looks like a cake to me.
Feels like a cake.
But a lot of the things that they consider tray bakes in the United Kingdom, we call them bars.
Right. Yeah, like a thick, like you can hold them in your hand.
Like the millionaire shortbread.
That's
a bar to us. That's
a tray bake there.
Right.
But these are really good. I like this. Definitely worth trying out. It is more involved.
Right,
than some
because you have to
recipes
do that with all the ginger, and you have to make the syrup and all that. But it wasn't hard.
It wasn't hard. It was just more involved. It had more steps.
There were a lot of dishes to do.
Yeah, it had a lot of ingredients, and the ginger wasn't hard. It was just took time.
And it was kind of cool, you know, because we had never bought ginger.
Right.
We had never peeled it or seen how it looked.
You probably could have, instead of chopping it, if you really wanted to, I wonder if you could have like shredded it on the, like a zester or something. If you shredded it, I wonder if
you know what though, he said finely chopped, so I think you did a good job.
I did finely chopped.
Yeah. So this is nice. So I hope you all will try this. If you do, let me know if you've made anything like this. Let us know what you made. If you've ever used ginger syrup for anything, be it dessert or a mixed cocktail, anything, let us know what you use ginger syrup for and where you found it, especially if you're in the United States. Because we didn't see it anywhere, did we?
No, we didn't go to specialty stores, but we didn't see it in normal stores.
It wasn't any trouble making our own. It's just time consuming. It takes a half an hour.
Yeah.
So, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.